to love it. I like that Georgia's already starting to incorporate that back row attack. They're going to have to use multiple weapons in order to keep this Missouri defense on their toes.
Or sorry, we have a challenge called. I'm looking at it. Don Sullivan has done terrific things.
The original call was serve in. Mizzou is challenging, the ball is out.
Well, best part of our job is we get to watch. Oh boy.
After
Leah.
review, the call has been reversed. Point Missouri.
I would agree with that.
For sure, that's some sharp eyes by Mizzou bench, and a successful challenge for head coach Dawn Sullivan in just her second season. She was the 2023 SC Coach of the Year, co-coach of the year, and done tremendous work. Kieralise Perez Catala again from the service line. Pushes Lovett back on the receive. That one in.
Really smart shot by Muneke in between that middle back and left back seam. Such a hard ball to defend that deep back corner.
Anna Julia Bleeker comes in now to serve from Windermere, Florida, redshirt sophomore. Outside, Vernon uses left hand, a simple recycle so that she can take a bigger swing. Outside and staying behind it is Muneke. Good dig, wasn't quite high enough, and the kill goes to Michael Vernon.
And great early on defense by both sides. I think that's going to be a big part of this game, is how these defenses can keep their team in the game, especially with how high-flying offensive players they have on the court.
Take your time, it's a long match. Isn't like it hasn't happened to me. To the middle they go. That's going to be so important for Mizzou, and they get it done.
Yeah, Mizzou's passing really well right now, which is allowing them to get their middles involved early. They can be outside dominant, pin dominant, so getting those middles involved will keep Georgia's defense honest.
Serving for Mizzou, the lady in black, Maya Sands. Change of pace. I really like the idea from Fisher. Execution falls short.
Yeah, definitely expecting Missouri's defense to probably be back waiting for her to hit the ball hard. So dropping that tip over the block will definitely help.
Tom Black has seen enough, wants to make some early adjustments, so they call timeout.
Save now with the early Black Friday
Center. But what they did on the road was even more impressive.
And I think it speaks volumes to what this team is doing. Going into November, you want to be running hot. I mean, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, that's a gauntlet of teams to be playing away.
On the road and in Gregory Gym. Can they make it? Number 8. Back, Fisher behind, slowed. Hate it when you lose the ball in the air after a block.
Those are the worst, especially when you get a good touch. You're like, okay, we can go, and then it ends up being right on top of your head.
Right.
And there's never really a good word for you to say. I've heard up, everything, and I don't think there's anything
You
good
know
to help
what?
you
We
with
should
that
come
one.
up with the word. We should make it like sky or chicken or something that you wouldn't use any other time.
That you look up.
Yeah, Muneke. I'm telling you, we'd make millions. Middle. Power and fingertips, a great combination.
That's something the Georgia outsides have gotten really good at the past couple of games, is using those blockers' hands. They have big blockers in front of them. Why not use the hands that they're giving you?
An ace serve. Plenty of power. And it's so great to see them have Biana Muneke back. She missed some matches earlier in the year with a knee injury she suffered in the first set versus Georgia Tech. There was a point during the season when they played Arkansas that they had 9 players available. Maya Sands puts it on the money. That time Vernon trying to save it with her left hand, across the center line.
Yeah, that ball looked a little too tight to the net, and she got it over, but foot probably went under. Got to keep all the ankles safe.
Yes. Yeah, that's tough. Georgia's come roaring back on a 4-0 run after that timeout. There's the chop from Vernon.
And something that she's been so good at throughout the season is using her hitters' hands. When you use the hands of your blockers, it opens up the court like you saw, about 20 feet. The ball goes flying, and it's so hard to defend.
Here is Marina Crownover with the serve. Serves into traffic. Keeps the ball in Muneke, and Lovett goes to work. Vernon unloads down the line.
Starting on fire early. I love that line shot. Going over, I would say, a little bit of an undersized blocker and just taking advantage of that line being open.
This time the pass comes up short. Lovett's the only option and changes the angle. Lovett.
And off the hands, that inside hand of the middle blocker. Like I said, you can use the hands in any part of the court, whether it's the outside or the inside blocker.
Sophie Fisher behind the service line now. Cece Gooch is up front in the middle for the Georgia Bulldogs. Pass is perfect. Back. Have we talked about Jordan Iliff yet? Because she's making us.
We haven't, and I guess that was her moment to tell us that we need to make sure we know that she's on the court too. The lefty is a force to be reckoned with, and I have a feeling we'll be saying her name a whole lot more during this game.
Yeah, that's one of the strengths of Mizzou, right? Is they have all these powerful pins, and then you're running the middle as well. Outside, meanwhile, Georgia has had to rely on their pins. Their passing hasn't quite been there yet.
Yeah, and that was something that they talked about when we talked to Coach Tom Black before the games, that their passing hasn't been there, so they haven't been able to use some of their offensive weapons like they want to, like their right side in the middle.
Again, pass pulled off. They come up the middle in the pipe, but no touch.
The set is there, the run is there. They tried it earlier, it's there. I just think they might need to find maybe a higher ball, let those hitters get on top of the ball so it stays in the court.
Tricky, tricky, picked up well though. Sands on the cover. Iliff, again, a ripper. The lefty turns it.
She is such an elite and integral part of Missouri's offense. They use her in so many different instances, and getting her involved early on is very good for this Missouri offense.
Well, what's not great for Georgia is that they're using their second timeout now with just 6 points. You talked about Marina Crownover in the open, and in terms of what makes her such a good setter. Take us a little deeper inside of Crownover, especially that connection with Vernon.
Yeah, there are about 3 things that I think she does so well. And first is her placement. I mean, she's on her knees, finds a way to get the ball to Michael Vernon, and he makes such great decisions, puts her hitters in such great positions. They lead the conference in kills, lead the conference in hitting percentage, and it's because of her. She allows her hitters to be their best at all times.
Missouri started off this match 5-1 over Georgia. Tom Black took a timeout, and then there was a nice little run by Georgia, 4-0 run. But since it was tied at 5-0, Mizzou has gone on a 6-1 run. If we're going to go back and forth and back, and Black wants to play it all. Tom Black, a decorated coach, the 2022 SEC Coach of the Year. He's in his 8th season at Georgia. How about another ace serve? What was that stat we were looking at? Oh yeah, #1 in aces in the SEC are the Mizzou Tigers.
Yeah, they put so much pressure on other teams to have to pass perfectly to get their offense. When you're not passing well, it's so hard to get your offense going.
Again, the passing of Georgia not leaving them many options. You know it's going to the pin.
Georgia has to find a way to somehow find a rhythm, even if the ball is not perfect. Trying to keep the ball in at least so they can play another round and try to get themselves involved in this game.
Backcourt a little bit behind her. Calm pass by Vernon, leading to an Iliff kill.
Right now, Missouri is having their way, getting kind of easy balls back that they're allowing them to run their offense, and they have all their options available right now, and that's going to be very, very hard to stop.
Well, and I think we're seeing some of the decision-making of Crownover that you were talking about. Here's another pass. Looks good. Off hands. Good swing by Janet Dimmeray. Pounding away at it, Erica Lovett.
Smart shot to go off the hands of Missouri's block. Struggling to keep the ball in, so the easiest way to get involved is just hit the ball off their hands.
Going at Michael Vernon, and that's something we'll see a lot. Teams like to serve Vernon, see if they can shake her up a bit. Set wasn't high enough, and Megan Haith was waiting for it.
Georgia trying to get those middles involved in their offense, but Haith was just sitting there ready for the ball to come across the net.
Kaylin Rush has been part of the secret weapon for Missouri. She's a consistent server. And it leads to a beautiful swing from MK Patton on the right side.
Love the choice to set her in that situation. You've been really left side heavy. Your outside pins have been getting a lot of balls. Get the ball to somebody else, allow them to swing, and try to get the offense running a little bit.
Erica Lovett, a transfer from Tennessee. Gets an ace off of Maya Sands, and that's not easy to do.
That went directly for the libero, which is definitely a choicey move to make, to go right to usually your best passer on the court.
Georgia right now hitting 0 to Mizzou's 438. They're going to have to get it done from the service line, which they're known for. And there's another very tough serve. Free ball opportunity. The very worst thing that can happen. What went wrong?
Like you said, it was a free ball. Looked like everybody was sucked in inside the court thinking that they might be dropping it short, and it went deep. That's that situation where that's a ball you got to handle and it has to be perfect.
Down the line, wide. Now, Georgia, this has been their identity, serving, an incredibly tough serving team. At this point, with the score being 16 to 10, where would you advise them serving in this particular rotation?
Right now, you have both of your outsides passing right beside each other, which can be some type of miscommunication. I'd be aiming for the seam right in between them.
Go at Michael Vernon, outside again. Dimmeray is roofed. MK Patton and Sophie Fisher put up a formidable block.
Well, we talked about her blocking in the open, and now we're getting to see it. Just great close. You see how they press really far over the net, creating a wall that I don't know if anyone's getting through that.
Serve again. I said Georgia do exactly what they need to. Pressure from the service line. And then finish. Muneke with a kill.
Very smart shot. Like I said, high off those hands, open up the court so much. If you're not able to find the court with the ball straight down through the middle, using those hands can really add to that confidence as a hitter.
Bailey Cox, the senior libero. Serving tough. They're keeping the pressure on Vernon, and it is disrupting Missouri's offense greatly. Now that block was out, and another point for Georgia. How about this run by the Georgia Bulldogs? 6-2. Those timeouts by Tom Black were really impactful. The bad news is he doesn't have any, but Don Sullivan just took one for Missouri. Every Saturday, Marty and McGee and SEC Nation get you ready for football with SEC game previews and the latest news from around the conference. This week, the guys will be in Oxford, Mississippi for third-ranked Georgia and number 16 Ole Miss at 3:30 Eastern. Bailey Cox to serve, goes right at Vernon. This time she dimes to the pass. They go to Colleen Finney, and Mizzou gets out of a bind.
Yeah, big name of the game for this game will be that serve pass game. Both of these teams have the potential to run really great offenses when they're passing well. So that pressure from the service line is going to be integral in what happens in this game.
Perez Catala, tough serve, well handled. Bounced by Fisher. Kaboom.
That was a beautiful run, and maybe not the most perfect situation, but that's what Sophie Fisher does best. You throw the ball up to her in the middle, and you let her go after it. And she found that 10-foot line on the other side very quickly.
She did, with emphasis. Georgia just down by 3, despite having a couple of really big runs by Missouri. Vernon, it's still up. Can Muneke put it away? She's going to have to free ball it. It was so inside. Vernon tries tenderness. Muneke all over it. It's going to come up the middle from Lovett. Longest rally we have seen, and it's finished by Michael Vernon.
I love the defense by both sides, giving their offenses multiple opportunities to try to get a swing, but the dig by Maya Sands into the middle of the court and just finding, I love a good overpass. Those are the best parts of volleyball.
Misconnection there, setting not quite there. No timeouts for Tom Black, as I said, so these players are going to have to figure it out themselves on the floor. Maya Sands serve. They're keeping that ball on Everett. Options available. They go behind to Reagan Hayes.
I like that run by Crownover, something a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. We call that a back one, so the middle comes behind the setter instead of in front and still runs that quick attack.
Yeah, 6 swings, resulting in 4 kills from Mizzou's middles. No errors. What a dig. Block is massive. Haith and Crownover combined.
Great blocking technique. Loved what Missouri was doing. They moved in tangent. I think that's a big thing with blocking, moving together, not singly, and just pressing your hands far over the court.
Fisher able to put an end to that 5-1 Tigers run. Georgia, 6-point deficit late in this first set. Muneke serving. Tigers are all stacked left. So do you serve into that traffic? Sands is on the other side of the court, and they served Sands. That's surprising to me. Coffin corner, beautiful.
Such a smart shot. Such a smart shot. I mean, I would put a stat. It has to be 90% of the time that part of the court is open. It's such a hard ball to defend. Just a nice chip shot, taking about 50% off that ball.
Why do we call it the coffin corner? Because it's where balls go to die. Ooh. Yeah, it's so hard to defend.
We knew that last week during Halloween.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't see that, so here we go. Unloading. Lovett is fired up.
Missouri left a hole in the block for her, and not the best idea because she exploited that and got that ball back to that deep corner quickly.
Look, everything has not gone right for Georgia in terms of the early passing and runs, but they're doing some very good stuff, and they're not down by much. That's about as smart a tip as you'll see from Michael Vernon.
Such a that is a very smart shot. Saw that Georgia's left front, Erica Lovett, is coming under the block ready for tips, so pushes it back into that zone 4 area of the court.
Crownover. Another fantastic off the hands shot. Why is hitting high hands such a great idea?
Well, first, because you're not pulling down, which is something that hitters like to do a lot, is pull down into the court, into the meat of your hands. Using those fingertips opens the court up. You saw that ball go flying up in the air. Those balls are so hard to defend, and as a defender, if a ball goes off the hands, you have no clue where it's going.
Iliff, little ball. Mizzou is hitting .344. Now 375 after Iliff's kill. Michael Vernon at the service line. Tigers just 2 away from taking set number 1. Pass is great. Guess who's on it? Demaray. Says, not on my watch. No touch. And the Missouri Tigers are at set point. Pass is good. Crown over. Gonna go back to Iliff, which is the right choice. It's off hands. And Missouri takes the first set. What a performance by the Mizzou Tigers. They hit just under 400 as a team, and the power coming from all different players, ending it on a 3-0 run. Georgia needs an answer. We'll start things off for the Bulldogs from the service line. Sands takes that one. Free ball. Sands clears everybody out. Crown over. Back to Finney a second time.
It works. Little rhythm looked a little bit off, but she found a way off the hands. Your hands help you in all situations. If you don't get your feet there, if the set might not be there, just kind of just going off and letting the ball do all the work.
Yeah, and we're big Finney fans, you and I, because she did a great job, and I think she's kind of quiet. Your attention goes maybe to Vernon or Iliff or Demaray, but Colleen Finney gets a lot of work done. Love it. Powerful, but wide.
She's getting a lot of balls right now. Would love to see her settle in a little bit, playing avoid the block a little bit too much. You see she's hitting outside edges of the court, just going off of those hands and getting herself in a rhythm, then try to go for those angles.
Yeah, with 16 attempts, Lovett has more than anybody else on either side of the floor. She has 6 kills. It's really, this second set to me feels like it's going to come down to Georgia's serving. Can they get that identity of incredibly tough servers? This time they go away from Sands into the stack and get an ace.
Such a smart decision where to serve, especially in that part of the court. Vernon is usually pushed or pinched to the sideline, so she's taking up a very, very small amount of the court, and you leave it to your 2 rows on the court to take the brunt of the serve-receive work.
2 aces for Lovett, 3 for the Georgia Bulldogs. Michael Vernon gonna play cleanup, goes for hands and gets them. Point Missouri. Vernon's so steady.
Yes, she finds a way to get a kill when they need it the most. I think that's the great part about her, is when they need it, even if they need a boost, finding a way to get inside that, get her involved in that offense.
And she herself is a boost from Oregon State this year. Crown over back, this time to Iliff. That's what I love about Mizzou. Either way, it's a powerful pin.
You have so many weapons, and I think that's such a hard thing for a defender, especially when you have 3 hitters like Missouri does right now, front row. You have no clue where that ball is going, so you just kind of have to sit and read and hope that you make the best move.
Chicken winged up by Crownover. And Power not able to be held.
Michael Vernon just flies so high above the blockers of any team that she's playing. She has great court vision of, okay, this is what you're giving me. I'm over you, so I'm going to hit over to that as well.
I'm over you. I like that. That's multiple meanings. Uh-oh. Iliff trying to be conservative there, and it pays off with Reagan Haight.
The Missouri offense is having their way right now. Everyone is getting involved. Everyone's getting kills, and Marina Crownover is doing such a great job of getting all of her hitters involved early.
Tom Black calls his first time out of set number 2 as they trail by 4.
How am I gonna find a doctor when I'm hallucinating? What do you think, Fever Monster?
What about Sock Doc?
Sock Doc?
Doc.
Crown over serve goes in the net.
I like that.
Well, it wasn't my intention. I thought we were going to be leading to something. A reminder that Georgia is seeking its first true road win since last season. Their wins have been at neutral sites or at home. Eilif gets hands.
All of Missouri's pin hitters are doing such a great job of staying high above the block, going high hands, swinging high, getting to those deep corners of the court, not pulling down into the block.
Let me ask you this, Leah. It didn't used to be a high hands game.
No.
Where you're hitting high hands. I'll continue it after this play. Off hands, Sands to Eilif and down. Do you remember at what point the game switched from pound town and this and that to, hey, you know what's better? Is hitting off high hands.
I think kind of in college for me, because I remember one day in practice, all of a sudden there were these giant brooms up at the net, and they were like, okay, we're going to practice going off the high hands. We're going to hit the top of the broom. And so I think volleyball, that's the great thing about it. It's ever changing. I don't ever remember learning how to recycle. Now that's a huge part of the volleyball game, pushing the ball into the block's hand, giving yourself a chance to swing again. So I think that's the great part about our game is people are learning new things about it and new ways to excel in different areas of the court.
Yeah, having recycle, that's a great analogy for it as well. Off high hands, and as you explained with the recycle, it's really fun, and I didn't learn to recycle either. It's a soft touch into the block, trying to make it happen one more time, and we have a challenge.
The original call was touch on the block, point Georgia. Missouri is challenging the touch.
All right then. Let's see what we can tell. I always love that part because we, the audience, just get to sit in judgment like we could ever do it in live action, you know?
I know, and then it's worse like when you're like, oh yeah, they definitely touched it, and then they're like, no, and you're like, oh, I was so wrong. That was so wrong.
Yeah, exactly. What do you see?
I know, that's a hard view from that angle. I mean, everybody on the court, you're like just so adamant.
After review, there's no touch on the block. Point Missouri. Missouri retains their challenge.
Another successful review by Missouri's successful challenge. This is now a 7-1 run, and Dawn Sullivan retains her 2 challenges. She's had 2 successful challenges. All smiles. This team was 9-19 the year before Dawn Sullivan arrived. And the work she did last year taking them to the NCAA tournament was so incredible, going 18-13 and now 16-5. Push to deep corner, Michael Vernon puts it up nicely, back to Eilif, scooped again. A couple of great digs by Bailey Cox to keep that alive for the Bulldogs.
Right now, Georgia has to just do 1 point at a time. You're not trying to get big moments in between, big points. You're just trying to work one ball at a time. And it starts with a good dig. Volleyball's momentum. It takes one play to change the whole thing.
Yeah, Bailey Cox had a couple over there. Over 1,000 career digs. She played well versus Kentucky, according to her coach. Run the middle, Reagan Hay.
Perfect passes leads to perfect opportunities, and middles are great opportunities, especially in a perfect pass situation. When you have 3 hitters coming at you, most of the time your middle is going to be one-on-one going against the middle blocker across the net.
And a lot of success for the middles. Haith and Finney combining for 7 kills and 12 swings, no errors. There's a net violation against Missouri. Point Georgia. Georgia hitting negative numbers. It's really incredible. Missouri hitting 727 in this set. No attackers. Iliff again.
Hand.
Yep.
It's so hard not to say it because that's what they're doing, and it's a skill to be able to do it consecutively, not just one and done, but to be able to do it kill after kill after kill. Talks about they definitely work on this in practice.
Iliff has a deadly serve. Just as we were looking at it, we all kind of remember this incredible match where she had 7 aces in it earlier this season.
Yeah, she has what we call like a hybrid serve, so tosses it up like a float serve and then adds some spin on it at the end.
And an overpass. I say it every time we see one. I want that to be an NCAA stat.
I was just about to say it.
I
Your
can't help
favorite stat.
it. It is started by the server. And Georgia taking their timeout. Let's take a look at Jordan Iliff and the work she has done.
Nine kills on 12 attempts and 0 errors, hitting 750, which is such an insane number. She's big court. It's not that she's hitting middle back, middle back, middle back. It's she's tipping the ball. She's hitting down the line. She's hitting cross court. She's going off your hands. And as a defender, it's so difficult. As a blocker, that's so difficult because you think I'm in the perfect spot and somehow she finds a way around you.
7-2 run. And a 3-0 scoring run. We talked about side-out percentage with Tom Black earlier, and the 35% that his team is siding out at is nowhere near what any coach would hope for.
Yeah, and the siding out is when you are getting served the ball, getting kills, getting out of that rotation after that, and that's something that we're watching them struggle with right now.
What a dig off a powerful Fisher kill. Demaray sends it back. She's thinking the game.
Such a smart shot back to that corner. I mean, no one's going to stand back there. It's a very smart shot because you have your middle back defender ready for you to swing hard, especially when there's a split in the block. And having that shot in your toolbox is so important.
The ball, kind of slow motion slides under it, and then it's Finney from the middle. She's so excitable.
She's fun to watch. She's fiery, and I love someone who's fiery because that's how I play. Oh, I love the choice. Quick set. Blockers weren't even close to ready for that one.
Now, and how about Iliff laying it all out to get that ball up? Nice and calm, right through the middle is Lubbock.
No man's land. Those spaces in between defenders is so hard to figure out because you're like, it could be middle back, it could be left back. Sometimes you cross, you just never know whose ball it is.
Front court setter and crown over for Missouri. She will be offensive. Demaray. Well dug. Not an easy ball to hit, but Lubbock did. And more power from Janet Demaray.
Smart shot again to that no man's land between 5 and 6, middle back and left back. She's doing a great job of hitting the back corners of the court. She's hitting back deep one in that corner, throwing the tip, swinging cross court deep. Deep wins games.
Deep does win games, and we've seen several players kind of push it to that deep corner. Here's a short one off the net. Great dig by Sands. Blocked out.
It was such a smart shot. You saw her go up and her hand kind of swipe across, trying to go off of those hands, tool off those hands.
8th kill for Michael Vernon. She has just 1 attack error. Outside, good push. Crown over, options. They go to Colleen Finney in the middle.
And earlier I talked about the tempo with Marina Crownover, and that's not just to the pin, that's to the middle too. When you're running a middle ball so quick, the middle on the other side has no chance of getting up quick enough to even try to get a block in front of you.
5th kill for Colleen Finney. And not only is it a kill for Finney, but kind of what we were talking about before, it's like a kill and like a booster shot of adrenaline.
Yeah, I think for any volleyball player, when a ball goes straight down like that, you just automatically get some type of lift or juice, especially when it happens that quickly, and also when the hitter gets as excited as Colleen Finney does.
Yeah, she sure does. Clara Brower's serve. Hit the hand right out of the, hit the flag right out of the line judge's hand. I have never seen that before. And she says to the up official, well, I was about to point it in.
Hey, the ball was coming too quick. She might have been trying to protect herself.
There's the middle attack coming back. Take a look at this again. The power coming from Vernon's attack earlier in the play. Line judge is lined up perfectly. Her hands down, it bounces. And she's like, okay, you were lined up well.
She's in the perfect spot.
Yeah, dig it, dig it then. Michael Vernon is saying there were hands, and the officials agree. Look, what's gone wrong for Georgia in this set?
They just can't get their offense started, and when they do get offensive chances, it's very one-dimensional. They're going a lot to their pins. Trying to get their middle involved in some way is so crucial for them.
What an up! Perez Catala. Wow, it started with Catala's dig, finished with Island.
That started with that dig. Oh my goodness, I love one-arm plays. Those are so much fun. But great defense, just being ready for anything. Like I said, those balls off the hand, you have no clue where they're going. So you kind of just have to lay out and hope you touch it.
And the passing's been destroying Georgia. Tough serving from Missouri.
It's so hard for a setter, Clara Bauer, to get her offense involved because she's constantly running around the court, or like that one reaching, trying to save a ball from going over the net.
Another tough one. Lovett puts it on the money. Sands takes the heat. Crownover comes back around. She got her steps in on this play, and it's good. Sideline.
Placement, we talked about it. Running towards her right side and said, let me put this ball exactly where we need it to be.
And Georgia is challenging it.
The original call was ball in. Georgia's challenging that the ball was out. After review, the call's been reversed. The ball was out of bounds. Point Georgia. Georgia retains their challenge.
So I could look at your face when it happened, and I thought that's exactly what you were thinking. Let's take a look at it again. Hawkeye doesn't let us down.
Barely. Yeah, I saw it from here and I was like, maybe somebody on the court had a better view than I did.
Yeah. That's where I like playing beach volleyball. You can go back and look at it later.
Oh,
And
yeah,
the ball mark? Yeah. It's kind of the whole
Maybe we
chalk
should do that.
lines.
Put some paint on the ball so when it hits.
Anything can be done. We're just talking about innovations in volleyball. Who knows? Let's see Georgia's serving. That's the only thing that's going to break them free. Bailey Cox. Can't blame her for going hard at it and deep. That's the time to do it.
I mean, in this situation, putting some pressure on any of Missouri's passers is helpful. And even when you're down, I think you still got to put pressure. You don't let up.
Absolutely. Michael Vernon serves deep. Cox passes it well. Over dig. Wow. Power from Muneke on 2 consecutive swings.
You could hear her hand hit that ball pretty hard, but I like the high IQ, knowing that you're in an out-of-system situation, which means the setter's not setting the ball. You're going to have 4 hands in front of you, using those hands, not trying to blast your way through it.
Eilif. One-arm dig by Lovett. It's a good one, too. Muneke. Janet Dimmeray. Touching every part of the court. Missouri's put it everywhere.
She's seeing the court so well. We've seen her go deep corners, hitting the ball hard. And so now you have the Georgia defense probably taking a little step back because all of her balls are going deep. Like I said, wins games, but then when you drop it short, it makes it even better.
Love it. Great pass. Fisher on the slide behind.
It speaks volumes to what good passing can do. You can now get one of your big parts of your offense involved in the game. You wouldn't be able to run what we call a slide attack if that ball was too far off the net.
Colleen Finney has come back in for Mizzou. It is set point. And Jordan Eilif, it's Doug. Here's a free ball. Will they go to Finney? I would. That's maybe a little bit low for her. Sands lays it out. Georgia, some great attacks. This ball's up tight. And you gotta love the fight of Georgia.
And she hit that with her left hand too.
Yep.
Laying all out for every point. All effort.
Set point number 2, Mizzou.
Substitution for Georgia.
Kaya Tyson
Checking in number 4, Kaya Tyson.
entering. Love it again. Ball is out, and Missouri takes the second set. Decisive fashion and with some passion. Missouri a 25-12 win. They've got one more set. Can they go 8 matches in a row on their win streak? They are on their way. One set to go for Mizzou, or will Georgia. Leading Georgia 2-0 in this match. They came in on a 7-match win streak. When you're looking at this match, look at the hitting numbers, the attack errors, and it's all really been very smooth on Missouri's side of the net.
Both middles. Your right side of Jordan Eilif, like you're in those situations, it's so hard for a defense or for an offense on an opposite team to find a rhythm. When you have so many weapons coming at you, when you're just feeling defeated of like nothing's working because all these people are able to do what they want to do, Georgia's going to have to find some way to settle in, and it really does start with that serve-pass game. You haven't realized.
Yeah.
Serving and passing dictates every other thing in volleyball. So if you can't do that well, you can't do the things that you want. And yes, their outsides are getting a lot of swings, but then you become one-dimensional.
Right.
And you know exactly where the ball is going. That makes it easy for Missouri's defense to transition out of that and run that offense back to you. So I'd love to see Georgia start from this point, passing better, getting their middle and that right side involved.
Yeah, and serve the ball, because this is something that they spend an entire practice. They have a practice just for serving.
Would love to see them go away from Maya Sands in terms of serving. Put some more pressure on the pins, on the not the best passer on the court. Even drop it short to mess up some offensive rhythm.
Yep, I agree. Katala, Perez Katala serving. Middle. A little bit kind of a funky connection with Fisher. She covered it up, but she was expecting a quicker ball.
Found a way to get it over. Very smart shot. Usually when a middle is running up the middle of the court, that 4 zone is usually open because your left side is helping it with the block. But Sophie Fisher is someone that Georgia needs to get involved very quickly.
Yes. Anna Julia Bleeker serving for the Bulldogs. And out of rotation is Missouri. I think it was Jordan Eilif maybe running behind. I don't want to pin it on anybody. Somebody left early.
Somebody, yeah, that's usually what it is.
Yeah.
Someone left early. Too much of an overlap.
Yep. That's fine with Anna Julia Bleeker. She will serve again. Might be the first lead Georgia has had in this match. I'm not sure. And even so, erased. 2-2.
Georgia was there. They were in the right position, knew who the ball was going to. They just got to really press those hands over the net. Michael Vernon loves using hands, so that means you have to have firm hands in order to stop that ball from going through them.
Back again. To Vernon there. Can you go back to your comment about firm hands? Because we saw the craziest thing with Kentucky with the fifth block. Talk me through that.
Well, Georgia, it was against Georgia on Sunday, and Georgia's outsides, like we've seen today, were using their fingertips, and I'm assuming someone on the Kentucky bench, knowing them, I can imagine who probably made that decision. Going up, let's block with our fists and see what happens, and then they end up getting a block, which, thinking about
four
it,
fists across.
it's very smart. Now, knowing me, if I went up into that, the ball would like bounce off the top and go flying into the stands.
There's all kinds of knuckles.
But see, we said volleyball is innovating. I guess maybe now we'll see people using fists so they don't get their hands used.
Oh my goodness.
Could you imagine?
Well, I saw it once. Fisher sending it a little bit wide.
Now serving Marina Crownover.
I keep seeing the opportunities, as do you, for Georgia. Tied up 4-4. Your entire identity is wrapped up in serving. At least it was at the beginning of the year. I've never seen a team that has practices like they do about serving. They do much deeper dive statistically. And again, it's to Sands, to your point. Serve to Sands and you convert.
We've seen them, that's what you said, that we've seen them work on that serving, and especially on pushing on those sidelines is something that they do a lot, and knowing where their matchups are. And so I just think going to the libero, especially when she's in the middle of the court, which means that she can take up way more volume, is not the way to go.
Trouble. Things going awry there. And so right now for Georgia, as you look at them, what's one thing they can do right now to try to turn things around?
I think be fearless. That is something, it's not tangible, it's not a volleyball skill, but it's something that can change within a play. I'm going to go back to the serving line and I'm going to go after it, because right now I have nothing to lose. So why not put some type of pressure on them? And if I put pressure on them, maybe the next person that serves behind me puts pressure on them. Or I'm going to go up and swing. I'm going to swing hard even if there's four hands. Because if I'm putting that type of pressure or just energy out there, maybe my teammates will follow along with me.
And there's some good pressure from Lovett, who has been intense the entire match.
Yes, she's been their main offensive weapon right now. Lots of balls have gone to her. I mean, she has 24 attempts, on more than anyone on the court. So love that Georgia's using her and she's helping them, but would love to see them get that middle involved as well.
There was a good serve to Vernon and a nice block defense to follow it up.
Great serve to that zone one area of the court too, which for a setter can be super awkward because you're taking it over your left shoulder, trying to get it into your eyesight.
And again, they're serving that tough angle. Vernon does the work though, putting up a great pass.
Georgia's getting good touches on a lot of Jordan Iliff's balls, but just being able to convert those touches, because they're all going straight up, and those are the worst as a blocker, because you're like, I'm touching it, but it's not going where someone can dig it.
There you go. Rush's serve, handled by Cox. And it's good enough to run the middle when their pass is good enough. And that was a really nice set by Brower. They run the middle and have success.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like that ball, she wasn't standing directly at the net in what we call the perfect setter position. She was maybe a couple feet off, but that's enough. If it's inside the 10-foot line, you can usually run your offense pretty well.
It's a tough serve. That's the identity, and it comes from Erica Lovett.
That was the part of the court I talked about earlier. When you have two outsides passing beside each other, sometimes that communication might not be as strong. One's worried about hitting, among other things. So aiming for that seam.
Demaray, double blocked with a little extra look back from CC Gooch.
Such a difference that pressure from that service line is making, giving Georgia's defense an opportunity to get set and make good reads and decisions.
Ace serve, the service pressure from Georgia. They have a lead by 2. First time they've had a 2-point lead in this match. Roll back. Demaray, I love the big swing.
She went up hard for that one, and you could tell with her arm swing. She really got her arm all the way back and said, I am going for it. You blocked me once, but you're not going to get me again.
There it is, just threading the needle. And an ace serve on the way back with pressure.
Jordan Eilers' serve is one of those serves that you don't want to give her a couple, because if she starts getting into a rhythm, she puts some
damage
pace on there.
We got saved, not by the bell, but by the net.
Serving number 7, Bailey Cox.
Georgia Libero Bailey Cox serving. Georgia hanging on to a slim lead in a must-win set. They go at Michael Vernon, and ball's turned a little bit wide. Good things happen, right, when they put pressure on serving. It was a great pass by Vernon.
This set has been completely different for Georgia because they are putting so much pressure from that service line. Going back there being confident and serving Georgia volleyball.
Oh, it's just too slow for Finney. Oh. Not one to let anything die. Feels like Georgia's just playing more aggressively in this set. It's exactly what you were talking about. Like, what are you really gonna lose? Perez Catala serving. Ball is inside. What a beautiful slide from Colleen Finney, soaring through the air.
I like when Marina Crownover chooses to do that, because it's never usually in the beginning. She holds it, like during the Texas game. She didn't run it the entire time. Then fifth set, all of a sudden, you saw a slide, and I was like, decision making.
Yes, I love it. To your point. Cox first pass. Perez Catala. Told you Crownover would be offensive. Eilif gets back, begs for it again. Everybody back from Vernon, and she pulls the string.
Smart shot. I think that might be her first intentional tip, not because the ball is tight, but when you have someone that's constantly swinging and constantly swinging high, such a high volleyball IQ to be like, I'm just going to tip it right over the block. You're not expecting me to do it.
And on this 3-0 scoring run, Missouri regains the lead. Vernon, no good.
Trying to thread the needle down that line. Just
Yeah.
missed it a little bit.
Yeah, and Michael Vernon's taken 24, 25 swings now. That's just her second error. Anna Julia Bleeker back to serve. Sands squeezing Vernon off the court a little bit. So she's free to do this, digs her own ball. And this is, Vernon's the only option Crownover has at that point until that one. Wow. She's exciting to watch.
Yeah, it was a great choice. I like the decision. She went to the outside, went off the block, went to the outside again, got a ball well enough handled that you're able to get your middle involved.
Colleen Finney, 7 kills. Crownover sees where that one's going, can't bring it back.
Point, Georgia. Munike on the kill. Now serving number 13, Viana Munike.
Munike behind the service line, sends it just long. And we have seen a much tighter third set. Can Georgia pull out the third set, get some momentum based from their service line? Missouri took the first 2 sets decisively, but Georgia came out with some fight in this third set, and it's a closely contested contest. Here's the Week 11 SEC net. This match, this set, 9 ties, 4 lead changes. Sophie Fisher makes it yet another tie. What's gone right for Georgia?
They're serving. They're putting pressure on people who are not Maya Sands, which I think is so crucial. You took the ball away from her, forced other people to pass, and put them in really great positions too. Awkward passing.
Sands overpasses this one. And Crownover is backcourt as she tried to save that one and keep it on their side. Georgia has 7 aces now in this match. Missouri is stacked left. The last ball went to Sands. This time they serve away from her. Perez Catala. And Vernon finishes.
The great thing about Vernon is even in non-perfect situations, she finds a way to get a kill, which I think that's what makes an elite outside, is even when the ball is not in tempo, and majority of balls aren't in tempo, you still are finding ways to get kills.
Vernon and Eiliff both hitting around 430. Outside again to Lovett. It's going to be a free ball over. Then is a down ball from Vernon. Sands reads it well, gets underneath it. Going the opposite way was Crownover, and just a little too hungry on that angle for Eiliff.
She had it, and that was, Crownover sent that from the other side of the court, but barely out.
Setter Clara Brower serving. Pass is good, goes back again. Connection slightly off, but ball down. And Jordan Eiliff continues to score 12 kills for her. Now 13 kills. Actually, she's about to have a double-double because she has 9 digs as well, does Eiliff. Erica Lovett has been intense this entire match and doing terrific things. Michael Vernon passes well, and Colleen Finney, an understated celebration this time. Interesting. She's been going off with her celebration. This time she was like, that's business.
Look at it.
That's business.
Sometimes you just know.
Yeah. Gotta let them know. Really nice pass. Eiliff comes inside, scoop by Brower. Uh-oh. And that's a double contact going over the net. That's a new rule this year, that you can't double contact when it still stays on your side, but if it's a double contact and going over the net, no dice.
Yeah, so if one of her teammates would have touched that ball, then it wouldn't have been a double. But since it went over the net and someone from Missouri contacted it, that would be considered a double.
Yep.
Very new rule.
Yep.
Hasn't been as controversial as I thought it could potentially be of the no doubles.
Yeah, Tom Black just having a conversation there, but if it's not clean going over, and I like the rule. I don't know, what do you think about it?
I don't mind it. I think professionally, we don't see a lot of doubles get called anyway, so I'm not really used to it. But I mean, I think people were concerned that it would make setters not be as high quality, and I don't think that's the case. I kind of think it kind of saves some rallies where if someone doesn't set a perfect ball, you still get to be involved. Strange play, but overpass situation.
Tied at 19s, very different than the first 2 sets that we have seen. Can this Georgia team put it over? Cox at the service line. Trouble. Crown over, just quick reactions.
Sneaky. She's gonna throw it over her shoulder. It's like, I don't think I'm gonna set this ball.
This season, we have seen reverse sweeps. We have seen upsets. We have seen so much that I guarantee you Mizzou is not like, yeah, we're taking this, because look what Georgia's doing now. Once Georgia gets on a roll, a very dangerous team. 14 ties so far in this set. Nice pass. And then going off the hands, MK Patton does it again.
Great choice to get your right side involved in that situation. Sometimes you have a tendency to go to what you know, and you've been setting the middle and the outside a lot, but getting someone else involved can help that Missouri defense stay honest and be like, okay, we have 3 hitters coming at us potentially.
On to Julia Bleeker, serving. Sands is in the middle. We're going to try to keep Vernon out of it. They do. Perfect pass from Sands. Back to what's been working in the slide to Colleen Finney.
They run their slide attack at such a quick tempo that it's so hard for blockers to be able to line up correctly. And Colleen Finney has such a quick arm, especially on that slide, that she gets on that ball very fast.
Cox put the ball up. Sophie Fisher, and expect them to find her quite a bit. Vernon thinks she's going to go over the block, but you got to measure up Sophie Fisher.
She has some long arms, and she takes up a whole lot of space on the net. So if you're going to tip, it's going to have to go a little bit higher than what you're expecting, or she'll do what she did there, and it's going right back down on your side of the court.
There are 4 points remaining. Erin Benning having a quick word with Muneke before she serves. He is the serving guru of the Georgia Bulldogs. Ball is over and good.
Sometimes in those situations as a setter, it's easier to just keep going with the ball instead of trying to stop it to set somebody else.
And that's so frustrating as a server. You're like, I served them so tough, it was going to be an overpass.
She just kind of helped the ball.
Be ready.
Yeah, kind of helped the ball keep going over the net.
Crown over. Muneke passes it just well. And love it, crushes.
Great tempo from Clara Brower. She was in a position where she's inside the 10-foot line, so she could send that ball out. I saw it coming out of her hand. She sent that ball to her outside, and she was able to pass the block of Missouri.
Sophie Fisher. Perfect pass. Pounds down from Hayes.
We call that a gap set. So you had your middle come, and she ran basically an attack in between the middle blocker and the right side blocker. Such a hard ball to defend when you have 2 people coming at you on that side of the court.
Let's take a look at this Crown over and Vernon connection that we set up at the beginning. Imagine these 2 first-year players, and what a difference they have made for Mizzou.
You can absolutely see their connection. I mean, Marina Crownover is able to find her in all time.
Tough ball, well saved. Iliff, and you can tell from the beginning, Iliff overran that ball.
Yeah, it came off a little bit farther off the net, and I think she was probably assuming it was going to be close and in tempo, and just kind of a little bit of a misconnection.
Setter Clara Brower serving. Maya Sands is in the middle of the Missouri serve receive, but first there's a little bit of moisture on the court that they're getting up. Nobody wants to slip on defense. Muneke, all set to go. Wow, what a serve! Drops right inside the end line to give Georgia set point.
Great serve. That's it. The deep third of the court is such a hard place to pass because you never know if it's going to be in or out. It's inches of a decision of, okay, I'm going to pass this or I'm going to let it go. Just barely drops in at the end. You saw, and there was no competing with that one.
Yeah, and that's a tough spot for Maya Sands, by the way, because she's in between her outside hitters. And so, like, you want to kind of cheat one way or the other, but who are you going to try to take some pressure off of?
Yeah,
and so she was a little closer to Desmarais, so she couldn't necessarily even get a great look at it to tell Vernon, yes, 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 yes.
It's hard because usually you want to more shift to your front row player, because if somebody puts them on the ground,
Exactly.
that takes someone out of the offense. So you want to help give them a little bit more cushion and tell your back row outside, like, hey, for this rotation, I'm going to need you to take it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened, and a tough one. And to your point, it hasn't been through hitting. In this set, Missouri is out attacking Georgia. They have 16 kills to Georgia's 9. It's been service. It's 4 service aces, but so much more than that. They have taken Missouri out of their game.
You're putting pressure on them. Now that you know where the ball is going, you can set up your defense better. We've seen Georgia get a couple more blocks this set than they had in the previous sets because their defense is allowed to set up because they know where the ball's going.
Clara Brower for the set, goes right at Vernon again. Dimare. Dimare's able to put it away. We're tied at 24 apiece, going extra points in a pivotal set. Coming in to serve, Kaylin Rush comes in again. There have been 19 ties in these 24 points. Beautiful, pushes it back. Kaylin Rush comes in and answers the bell.
Beautiful serve, pinning that passer up high. Like I said, those deep balls are so hard to pass because you either have to say, I'm going to take it, or you have to do it confidently, or you got to let it go. And that one's one of those in-betweens of like, I don't know if I'm going to take it or not, and ends up in a Missouri ace.
Well, what's interesting is you look at the serving strategy for both teams in these last few points, and it's what you talked about, the back third of the court.
That's interesting. I feel like it's such a hard place to hit because it's fine line of if I hit this ball even 1 mile per hour too much, that ball's going out. But when you do pin people back, it's so hard. As a passer, it's so frustrating because you're like, should I take it? Should I not take it? If I use my hands, it's probably out. And by the time all that stuff goes through your head, the ball's already on you.
And so my mind is thinking now, does Kaylin Rush have a really short serve? Like, can she pull the string? If they're gonna, we'll see how they line up. But if Georgia lines up super deep,
dropping it right in front of the passer. Even a little mid-zone would do them justice.
I mean, that's always the nastiest serve, and that's where my mind goes, sadly. Let's go to the SEC standings. Missouri, you see, sitting in second place. What an incredibly tough conference season this has been. Kaylin Rush serving for the match. Pass is good, it'll go outside. Block is no good. The fans got all excited. You gotta make it, block it in.
Turn that right hand just back in a little bit. But smart shot by Erica Lovett, just to go with what you know. She's been using those hands the entire game. Why not use it at this point?
Now Dimare and Vernon are next to each other in the serve receive. They're gonna serve that seam. They certainly go for it. Outside to Dimare. Dimare gets a touch. And it is once again match point, Mizzou. Comes back. Looking for that deep line. Vernon gets underneath it. Joust, chicken wing. And Dimare, it's still good. Who's going to put it away? You going to go Colleen Finney? Nope. Dimare going for the deep corner. Calm ball is in. Muneke gets out to hit this ball. Ball is touched on the block. Georgia ties it up again.
I love that she went for it. You could tell by her approach and the way that she went up to swing that she's like, I'm swinging away. At this point in the game, why take anything off of it?
Ball is long. To the middle, Sophie Fisher. Again, so low for Sophie. Backcourt. Well dug by Brower. Turnover. And the be tricky. Maybe better to have your hitters hit it. Desmarais is blocked. Fisher and Patton combined for a huge block.
Georgia is not letting up. I mean, the longest rallies of the night are happening the last couple of points.
Yeah, it's set point number 2 for the Bulldogs. Missouri's already had 2 match points. This set has been tied 21 times with 9 lead changes. Take a look at Colleen Finney, 9-1.
I think she's gone a little unnoticed tonight. She's quiet, but she makes her presence known with the way that she cheers. But I love that Missouri gets her involved in all the right moments of the setter, running that slide. But 9 kills, 1 error, and hitting .571. Those are the numbers that you want to see from your middle.
Love when she gets excited. Meanwhile, as Mizzou is kind of focused there, Georgia's players out in the center of the court talking. Fired up, kind of looking loose, to be honest. Bailey Cox will serve for the set. Desmarais and Vernon are next to each other. Is that where Cox will serve? Crownover is front court for Mizzou. Vernon is aced, and Georgia takes the 3rd set.
We asked for them to have some serving pressure, and they bought it. That was a difference maker for Georgia through that whole set, putting pressure on Missouri and not allowing their offense to become involved in this game.
What a difference a set makes. Georgia's scoring has them end on a beautiful run. Georgia known for their serving, and they pulled it up big in the last set. 5 service aces in the 3rd set to help them capture.
2 aces to help you at the end of the game in such a tight match, I think is beneficial. I want Georgia to continue putting that pressure on Missouri from the service line, and now starting to get that offense involved a little bit more, getting their middles and their right side involved. Of course, if your outsides are going off, let them have it, but get some people else involved too to keep Missouri's defense honest.
Yep, and it was literally, when we say it made the difference, they were out hit considerably by Missouri, but when they were on that service line, it was powerful. Here they go again. They're going to start the way they finished with Bailey Cox. The way they finished with Bailey Cox. And a beautiful point for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Starts with your favorite stat.
Yep.
Overpass.
It's my favorite underreported stat. That's why it's favorite. Nobody counts it except you and me, and the producer. Balls up, Sophie Fisher and Colleen Finney protecting the net. Fisher, deep 3rd of the court.
That was so smart. I mean, she had people on the ground around her and was like, you know what, instead of setting, I'm just going to go up and swing it. And in those situations, sometimes a hitter wants to pull down, but deep 3rd of the court, went deep and no one was back there.
Bailey Cox again. Crown over to Finney, gets it right back at her for Muneke and Fisher.
I think they said off the block.
Oh, did
it hit Missouri? I think they saying it hit Finney after the block.
Okay, yes. That's Aaron Benning, and that is the key to this whole serving that you see here. Aaron Benning has been with Tom Black from the beginning, his 8th season with Tom, and he focuses on serving. He focuses on where they should serve, the trends to serve, the ways to see serve, and runs a very specific service practice. Benning is a huge part of Georgia's success. Okay, Pat back.
Great move by Michael Vernon. Just presses over. She just gets so far over the net in her blocking moves.
Muneke, big swing. What a cover. Fantastic cover by Bailey Cox. A tough ball trying to make that angle work.
That's a hard one, but those opportunities started with the cover balls by both sides, and that's also another underrated skill in volleyball that we don't talk about is covering, and the things it does for your pins, any of your hitters mentally to know that someone's behind you, letting you swing away no matter what.
Vernon. Wow, what an up. Perez Catala brings that back in from the next county.
In great defense. I mean, she just laid out for that one arm, barely touching it, and put it in a position that Missouri was still able to run their offense. And just getting the ball to Michael Vernon high off those hands.
There will be a challenge. Challenging the net.
Georgia is disputing that there was a net fault on the previous round.
Net faults don't usually make me emotional, but it sounded like it. No, it was a cough. Challenging a net.
The original call was point Missouri. Georgia is challenging a net violation in the middle of the rally.
Hey, they can bring you to tears if they happen in the wrong moments.
Yeah,
I've had
exactly.
those.
Exactly. So the thing about this one is that it's in the middle of the rally, so they have to look through the whole rally, and this is part of what is known as a bundle. Mm-hmm. So if you see a touch of a ball that shouldn't be, or in out or something like that, and if you discover something else during a bundle, then you can call that. It typically happens the reverse way though, where you're looking for a net violation or a ball that's in out and you get, or you're looking for a touch and you get a net call.
I'm intrigued to see what part of the rally this happened, because I definitely missed it watching everything that was going on the court.
Yeah, you have to play pretty much the whole rally to figure it out. Looks like they have done that.
After review, the call is confirmed no net violation. Point Missouri. Georgia will lose one challenge.
Okay, well, you didn't see it with good reason because it wasn't there. So Tom Black will have one challenge remaining. If this were to go to a fifth set, he would get another challenge.
After review, the call, of course, confirmed. Point Missouri.
Crown over serve, well passed. It's a new Georgia team that we're looking at. How about that block from Vernon?
As she read that perfectly, saw Sophie Fisher going across the net and decided to mirror her. That's something that a lot of blockers do when it comes to the slide attack, is mirror. So you follow that slide attacker as they're moving across the net and press when they're swinging.
Tough serve. It's been all about the service, both sides. Fans loving it. This 7-match win streak by Missouri, the longest in the SEC. Muneke, extra firepower. Eiliff, big block in front. You could see it form.
They knew where that ball was going, and Sophie Sophie Fisher pushed so much pressure over the net. I was so excited about how she pressed over the net. Couldn't get my words out.
But that could be a really nice nickname for her, Sophie Pressure. I like it. We told you at the beginning how difficult Reagan Haight, they've stayed away from their middles recently, and that was an important one to come back to.
Yeah, smart choice to hit, again, that gap in between the middle and the right side blocker. The middles usually can't get there or getting a late touch, so if you time it right, you're passing everybody before they even get a chance.
Back again. And I love that they're moving Fisher around. This is one of the treasures that you have in Sophie Fisher, is her versatility.
The balls that they run with her in front of the setter are usually high balls, which are easy for blockers to get into. So running her on that slide, something quicker can lead her with one blocker, more opportunities.
Balls up again. Muneke, tough for one coming over her shoulder. Eileth goes for hands and gets them.
Smart move by her. Last swing, you got blocked. Maybe was pulling the ball down. Now you go high hands against a high blocker. Give yourself some more opportunities.
And I was just thinking about what you had talked about before. Lining up perfectly. Down there is where the blockers are. A moment frozen in time that you don't see on Missouri's side.
I don't know.
Something happened to Sands there.
I don't know if they were expecting that. It happens. Lose your footing and you're like, I have that ball. And no, I don't.
No, I don't. This is the rotation that got them in a little bit of trouble. Fisher serving. Vernon, it was to the deep. Over her shoulder. This one is not. Love it. I don't know if you can tip on Georgia like that. It's a little bit higher, and they're pretty quick on their feet.
I think that's the big thing for Missouri is Georgia has big blockers. So instead of kind of being able to just drop it over, you're having to push it up so it goes over their blockers, which means the ball's higher, which is easier for someone in the defense to pick up.
Sands gets under it. Dimare, somebody kind of took the whole net up with them on Georgia's side, point Mizzou.
That's hard because Georgia was in the position to be able to pick that roll shot up and run their offense back.
Cue the music as Kaylin Rush is back in to serve. She was pivotal in the earlier matches, having the final serve of set number 2. She gets underneath that. Rush with a pancake. Oh, no. They called that ball down in the middle of the rally, and it's going to be challenged by Dawn Sullivan. That was a pancake.
The original call is ball was down point Georgia. Missouri is challenging that the ball was up.
Kaylin Rush came out of nowhere. Was she underneath it to get it up? Dang, looks like it to me.
The big thing with this, with a pancake, especially when replaying, is you want to make sure that your full hand is under that ball. If any piece of that ball touches the court, ball's down. It's so hard because in your head, you're like, oh, I got the ball up. It touched my hand, it's up, that should count.
Exactly. And if it does get overturned, it'll be a replay.
After review, the ball was up. We will have a replay. Missouri will retain their challenge.
Okay, mistakes get made. Taking a look at Hawkeye, showing us just how great Rush was. Sliding under that ball.
That looks like full hand. Took a little bit deeper because I was like the shadow.
Dawn Sullivan has seen 3 good ones tonight where she has challenged and won the challenge. So it's a replay. Kaylin Rush serving. Tough ball. And there's another one. I mean, you cannot challenge this, by the way, but they're saying that the ball was trying to be set by Clara Brower and that it was blocked. at that time.
So this is one of those calls that it's up to the ref's discretion.
Right.
So
Can't do anything
can't
about
do
it.
anything about it, can't challenge it. It's what the ref believe that they saw. And the big thing with this is if Clara Brower is trying to play the ball and Missouri's blocker, whoever is front row, touches it, they count that as interference.
Yellow card has been assessed to Missouri. And Dawn Sullivan still having a conversation about it. I mean, that's a tough ball because if we saw a replay, you could tell by the hand.
Yeah. And once you get to that plane of the net, it gets difficult. But overcalls, lifts are those judgment calls that we call them in volleyball that you can't challenge. It's up to what the refs think. Doubles used to be that, but now since they don't exist anymore, truly, you don't really have those either.
Yeah, Ben Piper and Dawn Sullivan having a conversation. Ben Piper is the second referee. Vernon, careful pass. Eilish makes it work.
Right off the hand. She's had so much success going off of Georgia's outside hands. And what I would love to see them do is turn that left hand in. So now that ball, when she hits off their hands or swipes off, goes back into Missouri's side of the court.
Over the top, another pancake. Bomb of that ball.
Big time swing from Erica Lovett.
We're serving breakfast for dinner tonight. Here's another pancake. It was kind of a two-handed pancake, which was interesting. Kind of like a dive. Hopefully it just hit one hand. Oh, it doesn't matter, right? Because even if it was...
I like the swing. It was aggressive, high and aggressive.
Just seeing a lot more pep in their step for this Georgia team compared to what we saw earlier in this match when they had just 12 points in set number 2. Off hands and down. To your point, she goes right back to Dimmeray.
Yeah, and that's a great thing for a setter to do is kind of reinstill that confidence in their hitter of, okay, you made a mistake the first one, here's another one. Let's not do that again. And I think as a hitter, it just kind of builds up your confidence that your setter has confidence in you. Like,
Yep.
okay, I made an error. That doesn't mean she's not going to set me again.
Yep.
Sometimes I get the opportunity to try again.
Muneke's pass is good, and it's quick to her outside. Crown over to Finney, off the block and out.
Georgia's getting in good positions in front of Finney's slide, but I think their hands are a little late, so the ball's bouncing off their heads, kind of off of their hands really weirdly because they're not solid over the net, just kind of waiting for her to hit it.
Missouri has had 17 kills out of the middle, 10 by Finney. Over the top and down again. Vernon has the Midas touch with 17 kills.
Smart shot to my other food-related area of the volleyball court, donut.
Georgia takes a time out. Mizzou looking like themselves. Last week in Gregory Gymnasium, Missouri took down Texas.
Show the tournament committee like, hey, this is a team we might potentially want to put in that round of 64 because we have an RPI and KPI, which helps them determine. So beating Texas on Texas's home court does help a lot for them.
Yeah, and still Missouri not ranked. There's a fan in the stands with a sign that said, "Rank us." Nice get. Tough ball into the net. Another yellow card. It's 2 to Missouri.
I'm not sure who it's on.
Me neither.
Did someone potentially yell through the net?
Well, it shall remain a mystery now, but Crownover did go over and speak to each of her teammates on the floor, and I think you probably came pretty close to it, Leah. Outside, Muneke going head hunting. Feels like this just got personal.
Just a little bit.
Muneke now giving the silent sign, so maybe there was a little chit-chat that potentially has fired up the Bulldogs. Bailey Cox has been an effective server for Georgia today. Block out. Point Tigers.
Good set up by Georgia, but Vernon just too powerful, able to use those hands to hit the ball out.
Sands goes at Cox. MK Patton is right there. They're going to go to the middle. Oh, Lovett made it look really easy.
I don't know if Missouri was prepared for her to swing as hard as she did. Kind of bailed on defense a little bit.
Perez Catala, great pass. And Missouri goes back to what's been working.
Vernon's just so good at using the hands, even in situations where she might have a seam or something like that. It's working, so why go away from it?
20th kill for Michael Vernon. Sophie Fisher, dug by Perez Catala. Go the other way. Muneke playing inspired. Wow, Maya Sands puts it up. And Sophie Fisher puts it down.
I said before, she's a big block, so if you're gonna send a shot over the net, it's gonna have to go a little bit higher to get over her, or she's gonna be able to use her hands to throw that back, or it's just gonna go into a wall.
Sands with the pass. Ball out, here comes Georgia. Pass is good. They run the middle to Hayth. Oh, wow. Muneke helps, or excuse me, Lovett helps the line judges out by pointing to that back corner.
She paints that sideline. Such a great swing to that deep corner. You can't defend that. That's such a hard ball. Great shot by her, though.
Here's the Week 11 SEC Network football lineup. We'll have a command center presentation of Florida versus 5th-ranked Texas at noon Eastern. Then at 4:15, Vandy.
All of Missouri's offense throughout this, Marina Crownover is trying to get the ball to her in any situation, but it's working. Sometimes when you have a hot hand, you don't go away from it. You just keep setting them and let them keep going until they higher game. It's almost automatic that Michael Vernon knows, okay, she's sending me this ball and I'm ready for it no matter what.
So what does that feel like? Because you're one of those players that you could just lock in as a setter and be like, well, I'm just gonna ride Leah. And I've seen it happen and throughout your professional career as well. What does it feel like when you
may know, like Madison Lilly, it was a look. I looked at her like, you're giving me every single ball, and she was like, I got you, and we just kept going until we couldn't be stopped.
Going for that corner. I respect the idea. That would have been deadly had it dropped, but it was long.
It's, like I said before, it's a hard ball to be able to know whether it's going to be in or out, so you're at least making the passers think and have to make a choice.
Fisher, out.
Georgia's getting the ball to her in some weird opportunities, but they're not weird for them. Usually they can just kind of throw the ball up to her and she can swing away.
Hayes comes in just in time to close that block with Dimmeray.
Both outsides are doing a great job of what I said before, mirroring that side and following Sophie Fisher. Not only her approach, but her eyes too, because if that ball falls inside, you have to be able to make an adjustment to come back inside, just like that one did. Like I said, that ball was inside when the slide, and so Dimmeray did a good job of not continuing to go out to the pin, lining up exactly where her hitter is. Such a hard thing with the slide, because sometimes it's a split second between my hitter is way past me and they're about to destroy my libero behind me, or I get a good touch on it.
Georgia's looking for their first true road win, and it's not going to get much easier after this one as they stay on the road.
They got some matchups.
Yeah, I mean, at Tennessee,
For that people are trying to build that tournament resume to show the committee, hey, we want to be in that tournament. And the SEC had the most teams last year, and I wouldn't be shocked if they add a couple more this year as well.
Yeah, Missouri looking for an 8-match win streak, the longest in the last 5 years. Pass is good outside. The pep in Lovett's step has never swayed. Cox runs it down. What a rip by Lovett. Last one cross court, this one down the line.
I love the run down by Cox. She was like, I'm getting this ball by any means necessary, giving her hitter an opportunity to swing away and get the kill. Again, momentum plays of things like that, just the effort, change what people do on the court.
Dimmeray, she's just really consistent going off high hands. It's almost like a funky arm swing.
Yeah, she kind of comes around a little bit, and now she's coming around, kind of hits the top of the hands, because all of her balls kind of go flying up.
Yes.
They don't kind of like splatter out, they go high and deep.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Thank you for putting words to it, because it's like a lot of times when you see hands, it's flat, but not Dimmeray. Like that, it's flat. And that is out. Point Mizzou.
Great push by Marina Crownover. I mean, she was on zone 4 on the left front side of the court, sent that all the way back to her right side, who's been kind of quiet, but not so quiet with 16 kills.
Impact player, Kaylin Rush serving. Love it, but it's just a little bit wide from CC Gooch.
Great choice running to that left side of the court. You're expecting her to set the outside. CC Gooch was ready to come right behind, just missed it by inches.
I'm watching Clara Bauer tell her team it's fine, just settle down. Little tip is picked up. Iliff off hands, and now she's gone Iliff consecutively.
That's the thing that's so deadly about Missouri's offenses. You have one player, you go to Vernon majority of the game, and all of a sudden you have somebody right there too that can get kill after kill after kill.
It's a 7-1 Missouri scoring run and a 5-0 run with that ace. It is match point Mizzou. Fans are on their feet. Kaylin Rush served the final point in the second set. This is for the match. Not yet.
Georgia's not going down without a fight.
Haith coming in. Match point number 2, Mizzou. Iliff over the top, and it scores. Missouri has now won 8 consecutive matches.
Georgia put up a great fight for all 4 sets, but Missouri's offense was just too high-powered. It was something that we noted coming into the game, that if you let all their hitters get involved, it's going to be really, really hard to win. And I mean, this Missouri team hit over 300 as a team, played a super clean game.